You've got Ohio State there at the top, minus 400 to make, plus 300 not to make the college football playoff. No way I'm betting Ohio State not to make it. Again, these top two teams here, Ohio State and Oregon, I think they're set up to really just honestly deter you from betting on these because, I mean, I think the numbers are exactly right. There's nothing, I don't see anything there that's really worth betting money on, unless you just had some kind of weird feeling that Oregon was not going to make the playoff. But we're going to talk about Oregon here in just a bit. I don't really see how you could bet on them not making a 12-team playoff at this time. One of the most interesting lines that I came across in this whole thing was Michigan. The way that they've got even numbers on yes and no. This is a pick'em, guys. Vegas has put a pick'em out there for you in a preseason betting format, and I mean, I think that there's a pretty good chance that Michigan doesn't make the playoff this year. I mean, let's just read the tea leaves. I mean, there's been a mass exodus of not only talent but coaches, and I mean, I don't know if you're giving me a 50-50 shot, I'm saying no, and I'm feeling like I'm probably got at least a 55% chance of hitting that. I feel like. So I feel like there's value there. What do you think about this list? I think there might be some value in Penn State as well, maybe, if you wanted to bet on them to make the college football playoff. We're going to talk about Penn State here in a bit too. Mason, what's your interpretation of this list? Kind of funny to see Southern Cal down there just ahead of Iowa, huh?
That's right. And, just to kind of give y'all an idea of how I think about this. So if you're making this bet today, right, it's April right now, you're not going to see your money for 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much, right? 7 or 8 months, depending on when you lay the bet. There is no way in hell I'm giving up $400 to potentially, see an extra $100 in 8 months. That's not smart. Like, you would be better off investing that money in the stock market and you would make more money, right? That's what Vegas is going to do. They're going to hold your $400, invest it. They're going to make plenty of money off of it, and then hope that you also lose so they can continue to make money off of it. But even if they have to pay you back, they made money, right? And that's kind of the idea here behind these odds.
Yeah.
So for me, anything over like $300, I wouldn't take that bet because you're just not going to see your return very quick. It takes too long to get your return on your investment. So I'm really looking at those like Oregon, Michigan, and Penn State. Like, those are the only ones I'm really thinking about because, I mean, if I felt good about USC making the playoffs or Iowa making the playoffs, then yeah, that'd be a smart bet. But I don't think that's a wise bet. So for me, out of those three, I'm thinking that Penn State is a pretty good one, like you mentioned. I look at their schedule, and we're going to get into that here in a moment. I don't see a way that they don't go 10-2, and that puts them at 3 or 4 in the Big Ten more than likely. And I think that the top 3 teams of the Big Ten should go. So I like that bet. You're not putting up a ton of money, but pretty good return ultimately. $142, get 100 back, and then I'm with you. I think if I'm going to pick a team that isn't going to make it with good value, it's going to be Michigan. Just too much turnover there on the roster and on the coaching staff. I think that they've got to reestablish an identity for the most part, because Harbaugh was the identity of this team, and his you're seeing it now. I saw a clip on the San Diego Chargers the other day randomly, and you see it was one of the coaches. I think it was the strength and conditioning coach who was talking about, all the attention to detail, that they, when they're in the weight room, they have to put the 2.5 pound weights a certain way, on there, so that if you pull one off, the other one looks the exact same. And so they're teaching these professional athletes and forcing them to have discipline in everything that they do. So that's the type of stuff that Jim Harbaugh instilled in the program. And I think Sharon Moore probably wants to continue, but there's also going to be some changes. He has to have his own attitude and identity, and how that shifts the program. We don't know, but I think that I'm not saying that it's a guarantee that they don't make it, but I think that that would be a pretty wise bet, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think betting on them not to make it would probably be my favorite bet on this on the Big Ten playoff odds that we have here.